Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is a little bit different from what I normally do. Gonna be having a quick tier list today of all the teams that made it to the RLCS Fall Split Major. Hope everybody's having a good Thanksgiving if you're from the US. If you're from anywhere else, well, hope you're having a good week. But yeah, let's get straight into our rankings. I just pulled all these logos off of the Wikipedia page. The top left team, of course, happened to be NRG. And NRG, honestly, most likely the favorite to take everything, in my opinion. Obviously, Squishy, Garrett, Justin on NRG. They won a regional. I believe they lost one in the finals, and then they lost in the semis of another. So honestly, I gotta say, scrolled up a little there. Honestly, I gotta say NRG most likely going to be an S tier for me. I know it's just an R right there, but that's NRG. Just trust. By the way, I am going to be putting these teams like in a incorrect order. So like the furthest left is going to be my my highest in S. I know some people don't like to do that, but I'm going to do that today. I just want to get a concise list. Also, I am going to be bringing LAN experience into this. Now, I know that might also be controversial because there's not going to be any fans and there hasn't been a LAN in a very long time. But I do think that teams such as NRG are going to benefit from that previous experience. Obviously, it's going to be less than if there happen to be fans, which there's not. But I'm still going to favor that a little bit. Next is going to be Endpoint, and they are looking incredible right now. Obviously, they missed out a little bit on the one regional. An underperformance in the second regional, without a doubt. They only placed 9th or 11th, didn't make the main event, but still winning 2 out of the 3, which is unbelievable. Nobody else did that. So of course, in S tier, I don't think that I can put them over NRG yet. I'd love to be proven wrong by a lot of these teams. If you're thinking, wow, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, these teams he's underrating severely, I want them to prove me wrong. I just love some Rocket League, so I'd be happy to see Endpoint pop off. Seiko, obviously, been absolutely crazy for this team, a newcomer. So I don't want to put them above NRG or other teams with LAN experience quite yet. So I'm gonna keep them here, but still an S tier team, without a doubt, has a chance to take it all. Next is gonna be Ground Zero. So yeah, Ground Zero, one of the OCE teams, they have definitely proven themselves to be the second best team in OCE, right behind Renegades. Renegades taking 2 of the 3, and then Ground Zero taking 1 of them. However, I just don't know if this region is quite able to withstand the power that we've seen from EU and NA. So right now, since they're not even the top team in Oceania, I am going to have to put them in C tier again with these teams. I'd love to see them pop off, but I don't know if it's possible for them to do that right now. Next up, we've got Sandrock Gaming, which was a team that we had a lot of hype going into this season. Obviously, their first chance to ever compete at a LAN for RLCS, and they've done great. Absolutely rolling through all 3 regionals, through MENA, Middle East, and North Africa. They have, in fact, just absolutely stormed through. They've been doing a great job all regional, or all split. However, they're going to be missing one of their main roster players, Khaled, actually going to be having tests and exams for school, so he's not going to be able to go to the LAN in Stockholm. Instead, they're going to be replacing him with Senzo, who is a great player, but it's not their main roster. It's not Ocalid. And I do think that is going to bring down their quality of play quite a bit. No disrespect to Senzo, obviously, but that's just not the team that they've been running lately, that they've had all this practice and success with. So I'd love to put them higher, but I'm gonna have to say C right now. Still having them above ground zero in the current moment in time. We'll see what happens with that, but yeah, my second C team. G2 getting second in North America. They did end up winning one of the 3 regionals. They did a great job. They were very consistent towards the end of the season. It was they were kind of looking a little iffy at the beginning. It was hard to predict what they were going to be able to do with Drees. But Drees has actually been fitting in quite well. There's still a couple double commits here and there. So obviously they win the 3rd regional, which the 3rd regional, by the way, could have fallen to Envy as well. It was such a crazy series. Regional event 2, they got 2nd, and yeah, the first regional they drop out in the first round to NRG. So like you can't really fault them there. The second 2 regionals though, especially making finals both times, winning one of those 2, I gotta say, likely going to be another S tier team. G2 definitely has the ability to take a LAN here, and I would love to see it. They've been a very strong team. I don't want to put them over Endpoint, even though overall they're gonna have more experience, obviously, than Endpoint with Chicago and JNAPS, but I still don't want to put them over Endpoint because Endpoint, being able to dominate such a huge region like EU, I don't want to quite say that that's worth more yet. Next up is Dignitas. And Dig is another really, really solid team. A team that was kind of questionable whether they would perform so well, but they actually have definitely beaten my expectations for them without a doubt. So they took the 2nd regional, the 3rd one they got top 4, and then I believe they got top 4 in the first event as well. So they've been really, really well, getting through the Swiss stage every single time and then advancing to top 4. They took the only regional outside of they're the only team to win a regional other than Endpoint, obviously, because there's only 3 regionals and Endpoint took 2 of them. So I'm gonna say Dignitas is going to also be an S tier, and I know this is kind of polarizing, the list that I've got right now, but it's just the way that it happened to go with the way they were lined up on Liquipedia. But next up is going to be Renegades. Now, Renegades, if you don't know, another OCE team. Renegades did take the first 2 regional events, then plopped out in the round of 8 in the 3rd regional. So I'm gonna say definitely gonna be above ground 0 in Sandrock. In fact, I think I'm actually going to drop them right into B tier. If they would have gotten all 3, maybe I would have considered to put them a little bit higher, but as of now, I want to say that they're still looking like a B tier team. Obviously, that's the team with CJ, a fan favorite without a doubt. So a lot of people are going to be hoping to see Renegades do well, me included. Honestly, I want to see all these teams do well, but sadly, half of them are going to have to go in the Swiss stage. So we'll see what happens out of there. Next up, though, is going to be FaZe Clan, and now FaZe Clan, definitely a confusing team, without a doubt. They came out hot, winning the very first regional in North America, and then they kind of started to cool off. They didn't even make the next event. The next main event they didn't quite qualify for, so it was very, very surprising to see from them. However, they did come back and finish top 4 in the last one. in Regional 3, where they ended up dropping to G2 4-0, but G2 was looking really, really clean. Now, despite the fact that FaZe isn't a team that has been together for a very long time, I do still want to put them towards the top, as they did take one regional and they've looked like a very strong team. First Killer, obviously, alongside AJ, and then Illusion as well as the third. I want to say that they're an A team. Now we've got BDS. Okay, BDS is a very interesting team. They were so strong throughout RLCS. They haven't taken a regional event here, and for that reason, I'm not going to put them in S tier. However, without a doubt, they're gonna have to top off the A tier. They are a relatively new team when it comes to LAN. Like, they were not at the last LAN that we saw, so I'm gonna put them in A, above FaZe Clan for now. We'll see what happens. Next up is Furia, who is the undisputed, most likely best South American team. They won 2 out of the 3 regionals, ended up dropping in the round of 8 in the second regional, but definitely a strong contender. And we have seen, due to complexity, who we're going to get to here in a minute, that South American teams are actually definitely no joke when it comes to these higher up levels. Definitely would say complexity is a stronger team than Furia. However, I want to say that Furia is probably going to be my high B right now. Renegades, I'm going to say that South America is stronger than OCE. I could be wrong. We'll find out in the future, but we'll see what they can do. I definitely think that Furia is no joke, so I'm going to be putting them there in my B tier. Next up, we have Envy, who is a very interesting team. They didn't quite come away with any major wins. They were literally like 1 goal away against G2. It was an incredible series that they had against G2. If you didn't watch that, the best of set that they had, I would definitely at least recommend watching through the highlights, because Envy definitely gave G2 one of the craziest fights that we've seen. However, I'm gonna say that Envy is going to be high A tier. I'm trying to consider whether I want to put them above BDS right now, but right now I'm gonna put them in between BDS and FaZe, because I think that they have a strategy that works for them. They're gonna be able to win games. They're a very strong team. Obviously, you got Turbo. This is gonna be the Turbo LAN, so I don't think you can put them any lower than A. They've been very strong, and I expect them to be a team that works well on LAN. You know, mechanics don't always come with you, but playstyles definitely do. Turbo, one of the last of a dying breed of positioning over mechanics. And obviously Stockholm, Sweden, the Turbo LAN. I gotta say, Envy, without a doubt, in A tier. You could probably make the argument for them to be pushed into S, but I am trying to reserve that for slightly better results. I think that this is going to be a great LAN team, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for us at Stockholm. Next up is Semper with Cassio, Archie, and Shazette. Now, this is going to be the weakest EU team we've seen so far, without a doubt. Still a very solid team, but I'm going to say this is likely the weakest link for EU. They got to the finals once, and then 2 top 8s, so consistent, sure, but they haven't proven to us that they can really beat those top end. Then again, they did beat BDS in the last regional, but they haven't shown us that they can consistently beat the high-end EU teams. So I do want to put them in B for now. We'll see what they're able to do on LAN, but right now I just haven't seen enough from them to prove that they're able to break into the same category as Envy, FaZe, and BDS. So we'll see what they're capable of, but I just don't think they have it in them right now. Next up, we've got Era Eternity. And this is another South American team, the team that fell second to Furia. They did end up taking 1 regional, but they haven't been as consistent. As Furia, they did make main event every single time, but they've definitely been showing that they aren't always going to beat the other teams in South America. Eternity is definitely going to be a tough team to say where they're going to fall. Right now, I think that they're going to be my first D tier team. I think I'm going to put them in C. I don't want them to be the lone D tier right now. But I definitely think they're going to be the weakest link of the C tiers. They've been dropping quite a few games to teams that are not going to be in this conversation. So I don't think that they'll make it too far in this LAN, but I definitely think that it's going to be a great experience for them and without a doubt a learning opportunity. Now to Complexity, the dark horse of what used to be South America, and now they moved from South America to North America under True Neutral initially, but they ended up getting picked up by Complexity, AJG, Shad, and Razebull. Some very solid play that we've seen from them lately. They were the final team to just barely make it. They had a tiebreaker match against SSG, which was a fantastic series, and Complexity barely managed to come out on top there. But I am going to say that they're likely going to be the team that performs the worst out of all the North American teams, maybe better than FaZe. But I don't want to say that it's likely to happen. Now, this is a prediction that people might get on to me about. They might disagree with me on, but I'm going to put them in high B tier. Their future is just too uncertain to really know if they'll pop off. I will say that they are incredibly adaptable. To be able to see them move from South America up to NA and compete against these teams and already have made a major, that is very, very impressive. And I will say I wouldn't be surprised if they pop off, so definitely watch out for what they're capable of doing at this LAN. Now we're moving almost to the end here, but next up we have Vitality. Fairy Peak, KDOP, Alpha 54. You hear those names and you think Rocket League greatness. You think some of the best to ever play the game. But they really got lucky to end up at this major. They've been incredibly inconsistent, especially after that Rlcs final win. You'd have expected them to be better here. But they ended up barely making this major, definitely underperforming. However, I will say that they are definitely a LAN team. We've seen all three of these players at LANs before. They're super strong on LAN, specifically KDOP and Fairy Peak, especially Alpha as well, but especially those main two do perform better at LANs than online. Alpha has been the best player for them so far. I don't want to put them anything above B right now. However, I do think that they're going to be better than Complexity. So that's where I'm going to have them right now. Which would mean that my top 8 here is going to be all NA EU. Do I think that's actually going to happen? No. I don't actually think that's going to happen. But this is just a tier list. I think that there's someone that's going to get upset. I don't think that, someone's going to 0-3 out. Someone from your, it's possible that BDS just 0-3's out. But, at the end of the day, this is just a tier list. And I do think that this is going to be a proper power ranking. Upsets are going to happen with any power ranking. But right now, this is just the way that I see these teams to fit into the way of things. All right, the final team that we have here is going to be Tokyo Verdy. And they have wiped the floor in APAC. They have yet to lose a regional. They won all 3 regionals. Ended up being the sole team to represent their region. However, I have watched a little bit of the gameplay, and I just don't think that they have experienced the gameplay of other regions' pros quite yet. I don't think they've had the opportunities to practice as much as any other region, and you know, gotten the opportunities to play. So they are going to be my lone team in D tier. Am I rooting for them? Yes. Without a doubt, I am rooting for Tokyo Verdy. I would love to see them perform. However, I have a feeling that they're going to 0-3 out of the Swiss round, which is disappointing. But I do think that it is likely to happen. But yeah, I just don't think that they've had the experience to be able to keep up with any other teams here. Am I glad that they have a slot at LAN though? Yes, without a doubt. I'm gonna love to be able to see if they can crack up against these teams like NRG, even Semper, Sandrock, who right now I feel like would just take out Tokyo Verdy in 3. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna love to see these teams compete. Obviously right now EUNA gonna be looking like the best that we've seen. Do I think that any of these other teams have a shot at taking it? Yes, without a doubt. That's the beautiful thing, is that we have not seen any of these teams compete together against each other on LAN in years. Like, could Furia come out, win the whole thing? I mean, yeah, you never know. We might see Tokyo Verdy pop off and you know, finish top 4. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, hell no. I don't think that's gonna happen. But that's the beautiful thing about LAN, is that we haven't seen these teams compete in such a long time. Some of them never, and it's gonna be very, very exciting to see what some of these matchups are gonna look like. And like nobody actually knows what's gonna happen, so I'm very, very excited to see. If you guys like this type of video, let me know. Definitely tell me what your predictions are in the comments. Tell me why you think that Envy deserves to be in S tier. Tell me why you think that Vitality should be lower than Tokyo Verdy. You know, just hit me with everything that you got. I'd love to talk some RLCS with all of you guys, but thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back with some more IGL videos soon, but I hope you enjoyed this little intermission type of video, and we will see you in the next one.